Welcome to Super Movie Brothers. Let's start the show.
I'll be back.
My name is Sarah Connor. Enough of a resume for you?
No. You may have changed the future, but you didn't change our fate.
I can see you're very upset. I'm going to help you protect the girl.
I'll be back.
Welcome to Super Movie Brothers, episode 177. I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Dave.
I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Jay.
And this episode, we have our Terminator Dark Fate review. All right, Jay, so Terminator, before we get into the review proper, Terminator Dark Fate, I did see it in the Dolby Theater.
As did I.
Yeah, so, and yeah, I gotta love that Dolby Theater, man. I love the sound.
I was happy to see that movie in that format.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I knew it was going to be a visceral experience. I knew Cameron was going to do whatever it took to at least make the action be as fun as possible.
So going into it, you and I were not hot on any of its marketing whatsoever.
And I still stand behind that.
Yeah, I think its marketing was dog shit.
And we'll get into box office stuff later on. But
every single trailer made me cringe.
Yes,
like you know, that moment where Linda Hamilton looks right at the camera and goes, "I'll be back." Just like, you know, I'll be back. It disappears. And I was just like, fuck, I hate that. I fucking hate that. But, you know, just because I didn't like the marketing didn't mean I wasn't going to give the movie a fair shake. Now, when Terminator Genisys came out, neither of us actually went. We didn't actually do a review for that movie.
I didn't even watch it.
No, neither. I
couldn't bring myself to go to the
I haven't
theaters.
seen the whole movie. Like, it was it was streaming on I believe it was
I think
Amazon
it's supposed
Prime.
to be the worst one, correct?
Yeah,
The
it was on
whole
Amazon
franchise.
Prime. I started watching it, and I probably got to the moment where they like time jumped to like 2017, and I was like, nah, pass. I'm done. I've had enough. It's real bad. Jai Courtney, real bad. You know, it just, so many of the Terminator sequels have not gotten right what Cameron did in 84 and again in 92. So, I mean, the action has never felt quite the same for any of the sequels since then. And then also, I feel like
even in this movie,
how they treat the Terminator character has never been the same for any of the sequels. You know, I just watched Terminator Rise of the Machine last night. It is fucking terrible. That moment where he's right outside of a biker bar, and you're like, oh man, a biker bar, this is gonna be so great. And he walks in, and it's ladies' night, and there's male strippers, and then he deals with, like, you know, the absolute stereotypical gay male stripper. And he's like, talk to the hand, and of course that becomes a thing that he uses throughout the entire movie. Like the character and his stoic nature become played for laughs, where they did do that a little bit in T2, but they did it in this way where there was some emotional weight behind it. You know, you got this kid who grew up without a father who's placing this father figure type persona onto
it wasn't
Terminator.
terribly blatant, you know, for comedic effect.
Exactly. And then with Terminator Salvation, I'll admit, I like that movie. Like, I downright enjoy that movie.
There's parts.
Yeah.
There's parts for me.
And
I respect the angle that they went with.
Yeah,
They tried to do something different.
I think my problem
I applaud them
was,
for that.
while I enjoyed like the acting, I enjoyed the action and all that stuff. I even enjoy what I didn't enjoy was that piss poor fucking story. Like the story sucked.
and it really just wasn't that fun to watch.
No. And then the ending makes like no sense. Like
no.
Ending makes no sense. And then Terminator Genisys, which takes place in that universe, I believe, but while setting up to reboot a whole trilogy, was just absolute dog shit. So let's get into our review and let's find out if we have possibly the best Terminator sequel on our hands. I get into my synopsis, I gotta correct myself. The best Terminator sequel after T2.
Yes.
But I mean, here's the thing. While Terminator's a great film, I see T2 as like, that's the Terminator movie. Like, that is the quintessential Terminator film. You can watch T2 without ever seeing Terminator.
It's certainly what I think of.
Yeah, it's the better version of what was tried in '84. Yeah. Now Terminator 1 still a fantastic movie.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a little bit different, obviously, but
yeah,
T2
more
is
like
just a straight up hard boner.
Yeah. I like 84 is like a sci-fi like thriller, whereas Terminator 2, that is like everything I think of in 90s action. It just oozes with it. All right, so my synopsis for Terminator Dark Fate. Skynet has fallen. The T-1000 was destroyed by Sarah Connor and the T-800, but now, 27 years later, a new cybernetic double threat re-enters the picture, and Sarah puts herself in the middle of the action. And now that she is back, are we better off for it?
Well, are we?
Are we? So, I mean, I'll say this. This is the best post-T2 sequel for the Terminator franchise.
It is. It's the most well-crafted.
Yeah.
Story-wise, it can be a little far-fetched to some degree. It gets a little confusing to some degree, but it's laid out in a nicer way with characters that have a little bit more fleshed-out meat, to chew on. And Linda Hamilton and the original Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is back.
He's back as a T-800.
Their characters are a little interesting.
They have an interesting dynamic.
I don't know what to make of it. If I liked it or not, I don't think I did.
I did like it. So I did like it.
I thought it was amusing.
I don't know
if I liked it as far as the characters, though.
I don't know if I bought like the end,
their arcs.
The ending. Yeah, I don't know if I bought their whole, but I like the way it was set up. I definitely think Arnold puts forth his best Terminator performance since Terminator 2. I think I think this is him acting as the T-800 here. It was far better than any other performance he put in, where I always felt like he was doing a lot of it for grins in the other sequel. I really felt like he wanted to bring something to this. This
comedy did work for me, though.
No, but that's the thing. The comedy worked for you because it was done so sparingly, right? It wasn't done in this tongue-in-cheek manner where like the other sequels have done.
Right.
It felt natural for the characters to make those comedic references and everything. So I liked it.
And delivered in a dry sense of humor type of way.
Exactly.
It did benefit with that.
It was used in an action film appropriately. It broke the tension. Like that's what it did. It broke those tense moments.
Sure.
But I think what this Terminator sequel has done that all the others have failed to do since T2 is that it gives you a good character story. All the characters have a good arc, and you get good emotional payoffs for all their stories. There's almost not a wasted character of the main four that we're following. So Mackenzie Davis, Natalia Reyes, Linda Hamilton, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, like those four main characters, I liked all their performances. I liked all their characters. And I liked the story that they gave me. I went with it because it made sense in the context of a Terminator sequel where, obviously we know that Skynet was destroyed and everything was stopped at the end of T2. So why are there more Terminators now? I like their explanation far better than I've liked the explanations of Terminator Genesis or Rise of the Machines. So,
and I do like seeing the evolution of the personality. Danny really well.
She certainly grows as a character as it goes on, and she becomes a fighter like the rest of them, even though she starts off not as one of them. So
now I have a question for you. So the Rev 9 is the new Terminator.
Yes.
The actor is Gabriel Luna.
So I like the design of the Rev 9 itself. I don't like Gabriel Luna playing it.
100% I agree. However, at the same time, I didn't like the fact that he was like literally almost impossible to defeat.
Well, so was the T-1000 until they did it. And then
this one was like...
And then in Terminator Genesis, they beat a T-1000 in like 30 seconds by putting it through an acid bath in their hidden like little bat cave that they made. But no, I mean, I bought it. I bought it because I thought it was really imposing, and I like that. I like the idea that it splits itself into two parts. Sure, it does seem like it's unstoppable, but that's the point of the Terminator. That's the whole point of what Terminator 1 was. It was this unstoppable killing machine until they were able to stop it. You know, and the same thing with T2. Unstoppable killing machine. This time harder to kill than the last time until they get it done.
Right. And I guess in a lot of ways it did work for me
Yeah,
because
it does. Because that's
the whole movie. I'm like, how the fuck are they going to defeat this thing?
That's what draws you through the film is just, you just run from it. And Sarah Connor says it like right off the bat in the film where she's just running from it. Like that's what they're doing. What do we do now? We run. Like that's the plan. You don't beat them. You just slow them down. And that's the point. That's why they're a Terminator. They don't stop until their target has been terminated. Did I just blow your mind? Because that's how
that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, you're right.
That's where they got the title. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
No, so let's talk about some of the stuff we didn't like.
Okay.
Right. While I liked a lot of the action, there was some action that I absolutely hated. So in the beginning, Mackenzie Davis's character of Grace is fighting Rev 9 in that car factory in Mexico. And there's some moments where it looks really slick. It looks nice. It looks fresh. It is a big wide lens. So it's not like tight in action. We're seeing everything, but it's CGI. And the CGI in this movie breaks the uncanny valley so many times.
Yes. There's a Hollywood sheen throughout the whole movie, which was unfortunate because when you look back on it, T2 as a movie, an action movie overall, and the effects were so much better done than this movie.
Which were mostly practical.
So many years
with the exception
later.
of the T-1000.
Yeah.
And even a lot of his effects were practical as well. So,
and I think that's the biggest frustrating thing about it is that you're not in it like you were in the original couple Terminator movies.
The end of the second act into the beginning of the third act, there is a giant action set piece that's going on.
Oh yeah.
It's all CGI. Every last inch of it is CGI, and it's like,
and it's all well crafted.
It's well done.
You can appreciate what you're seeing on screen because you know how much effort and effects were done to it.
So let me put it to you this way: what if you had saw that action scene that we're referring to? It's not really that big a spoiler. It involves planes. You saw it in the trailer. What if that was in a Mission Impossible sequel? Would you buy it in a Mission Impossible sequel? Because those are all historically extremely practical effects that they do in Mission Impossible. So when you're seeing it in CGI, it just it feels weightless, right? Like everything feels weightless, and it feels like it has no value to it. Especially when your main characters at times are also being done in computer generated images. Luna's the worst. Like what they do with him. There's so many times where I look at him and it looks vaguely human. It looks like my brain says what a human should be.
And maybe that's why they actually casted him, because he had a very simple featured look where they can easily duplicate through
I don't know.
the
But
computer.
there's also plenty of times where my mind knew that there was something up, that there was something wrong. And I think that's my biggest problem with this movie. I liked the pacing, I liked the action, I liked the story. I didn't like the CGI, and I kind of did not like the final showdown either. The final showdown didn't really, it didn't do it for me. It just didn't really do it for me. I felt like they wasted their best action for kind of like the beginning of the film.
I can see that, and I kind of agree with you.
All right, Jay.
Tim Miller, though, I mean, I think he did his best that he could do. Not to put him down, but with such a strong, minded individual like James Cameron as the writer and producer, he could only do so much.
Talking about CGI and special effects and stuff like that, Tim Miller, before doing Deadpool, was a special effects director for video games. Like he did video game cutscenes and stuff like that. So his entire background is in computer generated images. And obviously James Cameron's going to be A-okay with that because he's got his Avatar sequels coming out. Of course. That's all CGI as well. So yeah, I mean, look, did I enjoy the film? Fuck yes. Yeah, I really fucking dug it.
And I told you that right from the get-go. I was like, wow, I'm really surprised. I actually had a better time in the theater than I thought I was.
I look forward to a sequel. However, I actually don't want Tim Miller to be the director for the sequel.
No.
I think I want someone else, someone who's going to be a little bit more practically minded, because coming away, that's the one thing that left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't even care that the third act was a little bit lackluster, right? Because I still enjoyed the journey that I took, and the destination. You made that as loud as you possibly could. And while the destination wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, I still had a good time on my ride. So Jay, what is your score for Terminator Dark Fate?
B-.
Yeah, I'm a little higher. I'm a B+. So I I'm not going to push it into any A type of category, but I think a B+ it's warranted for the amount of enjoyment that I got out of it. And
B- is mostly because of that.
Yeah.
My enjoyment. And then, like I said, like I liked a lot of the acting in this movie for the most part, and I thought a lot of the characters were surprisingly well fleshed out and done, and I really liked seeing Mackenzie Davis play this character, Grace. I thought her character in particular was one of my more favorite ones.
Yeah.
And and her arc, and along with Natalia's character.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed Mackenzie Davis in this. Let's head over to spoilers and let's break down our characters and the story.
Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
All right, so Jay, when the film kind of starts out, Mackenzie Davis is brought into our world, is brought into the modern day world, where she will eventually cross paths with Sarah Connor, but she is not a Terminator herself. Even though she enters this world as we've seen only Terminators do before, other than Kyle Reese, pretty much. She's a human with a cybernetic frame, which I kind of feel like the trailers kind of spoiled a little bit,
Oh, 100% it did.
I was actually hoping
that was not a spoiler.
I was hoping more for like a Kyle Reese type thing, where she's like a super soldier but meat and bones, just like anybody else. Someone to be more on level with Sarah Connor.
It was never fully explained.
Well,
sort of. But
she was
not
injured in the future while protecting the new leader, because since Skynet fell, a new form of Skynet rose in the form of basically anti-hacking software that the government had developed so that they couldn't be hacked on a major level. But of course, there was an AI element to it, which became self-aware, which then saw humans as the threat,
as would be our future,
and then turned on them, which goes to something that while watching Terminator 3 Rise of the Machine, they basically say in that Judgment Day was always inevitable. Like all we did was we pushed it back. We bought ourselves time, but now time is up in 2003 and the bombs are going to fall anyway. Unlike, instead of 1997 like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Now this is pretty much picking up that same story point where it's like, you may have shut down Skynet, but humanity is doomed to create its own destructor, no matter what. And it's always going to happen. We can only delay it. We can only stop it for so long before it's going to happen. What did you think of John Connor?
Let me just throw this out there. There was 5 story writers and 3 screenwriters for this movie. Not surprised, I guess. Did you see it? I didn't feel it as much as I thought I would in the movie.
No.
I was actually surprised.
No, I'm assuming they're working on some of this stuff is probably recycled scripts. So, at one point, some of this may have been part of the script.
Well, they can use bits and pieces of
for
any
Terminator
place.
Genesis 2. I mean, because that was supposed to be a trilogy.
Sure.
But big Hollywood productions like this, that's not uncommon.
I know, but this is on the greater end of the shtick, I guess you could say,
Right.
for certain movies like that.
I'm sure some of those writing credits are for recycled scripts that were not getting used.
To be honest, I was running late for my showing, and I literally just missed the killing.
Okay, so in the very beginning,
So I did not see how he looked with the de-aging stuff. And
it looked fine. It was okay. It was.
I
whatever.
knew that's what happened.
They did it
I
at
didn't
far
need
enough
to
of a.
see it, I
They
guess.
did it at far enough of a distance that it wasn't terribly noticeable. Like it wasn't Grand Moff Tarkin level of problem, that you had with it, like you did in Rogue One. But seeing the Terminator, John Connor, according to this movie, was the most important thing, because the last time we left them, now that the rest of the sequels don't matter, T2, they're basically telling you that storyline is completely done. Right off the beginning, they're telling you that storyline means nothing anymore. And, the T-800 walks up, blows John Connor away, walks away, and Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, is just going to go on and do nothing, I guess. She waits for these text messages to come that are going to
hit coordinates, essentially.
Yeah, that tell her when one will be coming through the portal and for her to kill it, destroy it. But she waits sometimes years between those texts. And she's obviously on the run because of everything she did in the United States. And that's where Rev 9 comes through, and he's going to be killing Danny, because Danny is now the the new John Connor. She thinks that, everyone thinks in the beginning that she's the new Sarah Connor. She's going to give birth to the baby that winds up growing up and leading the resistance against this new form of Skynet. But she turns out to be the leader. What did you think of that turn?
I liked it.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought it was fitting, and I think it's just the evolution of time anyway. Like, that stuff is going to happen. You're going to need a new leader. You're going to need somebody new for the upcoming years. There's just not, like, generations happen. Like, right. So there's always going to be a replacement.
The only reason I wanted to know is because I've heard some people complain about this 3/4 female cast, that they're all strong, powerful women, and
but you never feel that. I feel like
exactly,
unless you have some serious insecurities as a male,
and that's exactly what I was thinking. As soon as I saw people commenting about that,
I completely did not think about that at all.
Where I was like,
I did not see that.
That's what you took away.
I feel that. I did not think about that at all.
You watched this movie, and that's the one thing you took away. Was that.
No,
the only dude is a cybernetic, cybernetic being.
Gabriel Luna was the only guy besides Arnold, pretty much throughout 3/4 of the movie. Right.
A story point that I really hated was Sarah Connor's friend, who showed up from the Air Force and then is completely dispatched in 5 minutes.
Done.
That really bothered me. She's like, I still have some contacts in the States, and then the guy shows
stupid.
up,
and the guy was corny anyway.
I know.
He was just like,
I was like, what? All right, what is the point of that? Why not just have them break onto the base and steal a plane? You have a Terminator, 2 of them.
It might have been James Cameron's best friend or something. He just wanted to be in the movie.
No,
I
doubt that. I doubt that.
I don't know, but
it just really bothered me because I was like, what's the point of this character?
There were a lot of pointless scenes, to be honest. Yeah. But I mean, it didn't feel terribly long, but I felt the length.
Yeah.
At times. So again, it is one of those movies I feel like a lot of movies I've been seeing recently where I feel like there were great movies in these movies,
just not enough,
but still too long. Like, it was just a little too drawn out.
It definitely had that.
And I've had that feeling with many movies that I've been seeing recently that I actually do like, and I feel like could have been a lot greater if they were more compacted.
So how's this? By the end, after they've defeated the Rev 9 and Grace has died, Mackenzie Davis's character has died, but Sarah Connor gets to go on. That didn't seem to me. I felt like this was the time for Sarah Connor to die.
I didn't care.
Or is it like she's always destined to raise the next leader? John died, so she's destined to raise Danny.
Honestly, I hear you. I guess I just don't care about Sarah Connor anymore.
I really don't. That's why I thought this was the story to kill her off.
And Grace, I loved her story arc. I loved her. I thought that was so poetic of an ending for her, and I think it was going to help, Natalia's character to keep on going on and thriving. Because Danny is obviously has the personality, and obviously she does grow into be the leader that they all wanted.
Right. So, all right. So they do catch up with Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800.
Yes.
Carl. He goes by the name Carl now. Did you buy that turn? Right. Like, he showed up here in 1993, I guess it was 1994, kills John Connor, completes his mission, and then literally without any other orders, didn't know what to do. He doesn't go on to live a normal life or a human life in any way, but he does, without it, he does start looking inward and kind of creates a personality for himself. There is one thing that really saved his character for me, because I thought, first off, I was like, they're making him far too human. Like, they flirted with that line in T2, but you always felt like he was a robot. Here, she says, so you learn to love? Like, that's how Linda Hamilton, like, you learn to love? And he's like, I don't feel love the way you do. You know what I mean?
Our relationship is not physical.
Our relationship is not physical. And I was like, okay, like, that kind of saves it for me, because, if he said that, yes, I love her, then it'd be like, all right, now you're breaking my reality walls a little bit.
Technically, it all makes sense. It all adds up.
Right. Which is what that expedition was for.
I went with it.
Yeah.
But did I buy it? I mean, I guess. I just, again,
you two've never been intimate. What? She didn't know you were 400 pounds.
It's just not. It's just not what. It's just not what you wanted to see the Terminator be after the first 2 movies. Like, he was the fucking Terminator.
I liked it. I actually liked it.
It's just too weird.
I liked it.
again, it makes sense in the story context.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know.
I like the explanation for it without any orders coming from the future Skynet because it was destroyed.
I can't blame him.
He had nothing else to do.
Right.
So he started a curtain company. With that was another joke that made me laugh.
I know.
That was another joke that made me laugh when he's talking about.
That was funny.
He's talking about the curtains that are going to tie the room together.
Of all things. Of all fucking things.
Of him,
a curtain company.
Of him to like get obsessed with. It's curtains. I did really like that scene though.
Because you could relate.
Yeah.
You just recently bought curtains.
Just a little bit, yeah. Really. And then I wound up liking the color scheme of our curtains so much that we changed the color scheme of our kitchen and repainted our whole kitchen.
Yeah.
So when he's doing it there, I'm like, I get you. I understand. I get why a floral pattern would really tie the room together. I understand now. You're welcome.
That's the thing. Like it's not the same as T1 and T2 at all. Not really. It doesn't feel the same.
No, it doesn't.
But again, I still had fun. I still enjoyed it.
It's just good enough. It's just good enough.
I am happy with the B- grade that I gave it. Like I feel like I nailed it for me. I think that was the right grade for me for how I enjoyed this movie overall and what I took away from it all and how I reacted to certain kind of scenes and certain kind of CGI and certain kind of story progression for the characters and whatnot. But I don't need another one. I'm good.
Oh, you're getting it.
I don't know. Not with this box office, dude.
I think that this film may wind up doing a whole lot better than people are giving it credit for now. It has really nothing that it's going like I don't know how Dr. Sleep is going to do next week, you know? Like
I'm more curious about that.
Yeah. Like I have no clue how that's going to do because it's
a big question.
It's kind of like a mixed message. Like they are very much saying this is a sequel to The Shining. But as we saw with doing our movie cocktail, movie fans have seen The Shining, but there's a lot of people, and horror fans have seen The Shining, but there's a lot of people who are like, Shining, okay. And then you have it coming out after Halloween. I'm just not so sure if it's going to bring the box office in. And it does also have positive buzz, much like Dark Fate had going into it. So I think it's more like a wait and see thing. There's a few weeks before the big film hits, before Star Wars hits, where we're going to get these movies like Terminator Dark Fate, Dr. Sleep, Knives Out, that are all going to be coming out just before award season. They're not award films, but they get to languish in the theaters for a little while longer until other things come out and push it out. So it's got its time to make its money. Is it going to make anything over 500 million? Probably not. You know, it's not going to do any type of big numbers like that. But I think Terminator Dark Fate will wind up possibly making its money back. And that might be the best that they can really
best
hope
case
for.
scenario.
Yeah, is for it to make its money back. And so
but again, I'm not 100% sold on the sequel.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you
throwing it out there on the record.
Guarantee you the sequel will happen because it's a franchise, and franchises just don't die these days, Jay.
That's true.
They just don't die. And if this one didn't work, they'll soft reboot it again because there's time travel involved, and you can write just about anything into it and make it work. So that's going to do it for our review of Terminator Dark Fate. Let us know what you think over on the social medias. You can reach out to Jay on Facebook, Super Movie Bros Podcast. You can reach out to me on Twitter at Super Movie Pod. For more Super Movie Brothers, you can check out our Patreon page. It is patreon.com/Super Movie Bros Podcast. You can check out all of our additional content that is over there. Me and Jay just put up an extra cocktail for The Shining, different than the cocktail that we put on our last episode. And then we also have up a Patreon exclusive movie cocktail for Hocus Pocus, so that everyone who loves your pumpkin flavored stuff this time of year, this is the cocktail for you. I want to thank you guys all for listening. Have a great night. Cheers.
Cheers.